Hi everybody, I'm Emmy Neal. I am the teen librarian at Lake Forest Library. Today we are going to have some fun making candles, but first let's give everybody a minute or two, see if anybody pops in to join me today. Hello! Yay! We have friends! So let's give everybody a minute or two. I have had a fantastic and surprisingly relaxing week, all things considered. I've been eating cake since Easter Sunday, and we went on a shopping spree and we bought these stay-home sweatshirts. I think they're probably backwards for you guys, but we got them from Gifted in town, so if you guys live in Lake Forest, I highly recommend going to their Facebook page and ordering one. Our entire family now matches, which is really just about as Lake Forest as you can get. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Joy. I recognize some names. Yeah, I love Gifted too. They had my favorite type of candles, which are root candles, which is really where I got the idea that we should do this week. And then they also have all of this like fun spa bath stuff. So we're gonna do some self-care this week. I'm gonna use some of that. Hi, Mom. She's tuning in from downstairs where she's holding the dogs hostage. Okay, so, thank you guys for joining me. Today we are going to do candles, and for candles I found that they're one of those hobbies that are really intimidating the first time you do it, and every time after that it becomes really lackadaisical. Hi Lori! So, what you need for making candles is a pot of boiling water. I started this about 20 minutes ago because of course I couldn't trust it to come to a boil while on camera. This is, well, now I've forgotten exactly what it's called. It's a candle wax boiler, and it is designed, one, to have a spout to make it easier to pour wax, and two, to have a handle that even when the pot gets hot, the handle doesn't. So that's really handy, as you can imagine. I'm gonna use wooden wicks today because I really like the crackling sound they make when they're burning. I am recycling an old candle jar, an old candle vase. I could probably have done a better job cleaning it out, but it is really, really easy to pop wax out of the bottom of these. And I have this huge 5-pound bag of soy wax, but you can also use wax from the bottoms of old candles if you guys have been burning any while you guys have been home. That's a really, really easy way to do it. I personally avoid that because I use a lot of heavily scented candles, and then when you put them all in a pot together and you mix all of those scents, sometimes it comes out smelling like gross. Just a thought. I have a hot glue gun to help me, let's get it in the camera, to help me mount the wick to the bottom of my candle jar. A lot of people also just dip the wick in boiling wax and then stick it to the bottom of the jar, but sometimes they float away. I like to use glue. I have both essential oils and fragrance oils. I'm gonna use essential oils today because I like the way they smell. Fragrance oils are specifically for candles and not for like diffusing or anything. If you use fragrance oils for like diffusing, they will give you a headache. If you use them in candles, they disseminate enough that you should be fine. I love essential oils. If I use them in too large a quantity, I am allergic to them, Kathy. But yeah, they smell fantastic. I also have a whisk so that we can whisk the wax into melting and also whisk the scents into the waxes. And I have this thermometer. I'm going to talk about boiling temperatures, but basically the hard and fast rule is that you don't want to go over 120 degrees. If you get higher than 140, odds are you're going to burn your wax, which nothing terrible is going to happen to it. It'll just come out a little brown. But if you add any of your scents at a temperature that is higher than 125, it will usually just break apart the scent molecules and it won't smell like anything. So a waste of essential oils, which, as we all know, are not necessarily cheap. So yeah, I have this thermometer. Candid thermometers are usually what people use for making candles. I don't know where my candle thermometer went, so we stole this one out of the drawer. Thanks, Mom. And yeah, so I'm gonna just mount this to the inside of my pot. And I put it all the way down at the bottom because this is a pretty big pot, and I'm actually not using altogether that much wax. And my first step is going to be to take my wick and put a dollop of glue on the bottom of it and glue it to the bottom of, come on glue, there we go. Glue it to the bottom of my vase. Stop shaking, there we go. So I'm actually pretty lucky in that my wick is pretty much like just slightly too tall for this vase. For the most part, wicks are designed to be super, super long, and you're going to end up cutting them. Hi, Sally, it's good to see you. So yeah, wick and candle. Now we just set that aside. Measuring wax into your candle boiler is really, really easy. Typically, you just double the size. Like you could pour wax into here and empty it and then pour wax in again. You're gonna wanna double it because once it melts down, all of the air pockets that are between the wax chips that you can't really see, they all obviously disappear. So when wax dries, it does inflate just like the slightest bit, but for the most part, if you double it, you're gonna end up with roughly the precise amount you want in your candle jar. I'm not gonna measure it because I have a 5-pound bag of wax, and also that would take time. So I'm just gonna pour some wax in, and fortunately, candles are pretty forgiving. So if you use too much wax or too little wax, right, it's really easy to just add more wax in here and add a boil, and you'll be able to add it to your candle before your candle solidifies. It takes I would say about an hour for candle wax to harden once it's in its jar, but I've just added right there. You definitely want to make sure the candle thermometer is mounted in the wax, and then easy peasy, I'm just going to put it in the water. So because I'm using a deeper saucepan, but not small enough to just like set it free and let it rest, I'm gonna hold on to it, and then I sort of just swirl it around. When it becomes a little more when it becomes a little more liquid, I will use my whisk and then whisk it around. It takes about 2 minutes for the wax to not dissolve, to become liquid. We learned all of these states in science, and now I've forgotten them. There's gas, there's liquid, there's solid. You know what I'm talking about. So, when it comes to a boil, it gets really hot, right? So like 120 degrees is nothing to laugh about. If you got it on your hands, it would hurt a lot. Yeah, be careful. I like to double boil it. One of my friends lives dangerously and puts it like directly on her stovetop in this candle boiler. I've always read that you're supposed to double boil it, that it gives you like more control over the temperature that the wax becomes. But you know, to each their own. She's never had anything go wrong yet. She's also the person who taught me you could pop out the bottom, the leftover wax in candles and then like recycle it into new candles. So Stephanie lives in a world of anarchy. I don't know what to tell you. I just break it apart. And one of the other things is you don't necessarily need all of the pieces to dissolve all the way before you add the wax. And we're getting up to 120, so I'm going to actually pop it out and let it melt itself a little bit. Bring the temperature down, put it back in. So yeah, this typically does not take very long. I'm probably not doing the most attentive job of stirring it because I'm talking to you. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is I have this, it's not a hot pad, but I've forgotten what to call it. Anyway, so I don't put this directly on the counter when I add the scents in. But let's see if I can show you guys what this looks like. So, right, it's all soupy and liquidy. Request for next week, chocolate candles. I would love that. Actually, I think I have chocolate fragrance oils. Whisking it. Okay, we're gonna do just a few more seconds in the double boiler. And I think I'm going to do essential oils today. So I have the option of eucalyptus, lemongrass, tea tree, lavender, orange, peppermint. Does anybody have any strong feelings about what this candle should smell like? A trivet, yes. Thank you. That's it, Carla. Oh, chocolate. Gosh. Yum. That would be delicious. Though I will say I have consumed a lot of sugar since the Easter Bunny came to our house. Just so much sugar. Okay. Well, since, there we go, none of you have committed to a flavor, let's go lavender. I don't know. I like lavender, right? Upvote for tea tree. Okay, fine, Joy. That was my second choice because I love tea tree anything. My family is obsessed with the smell of tea tree oil. So they say that for every 4 ounces, you should add like a teaspoon of whatever your oil is, because obviously it will be mixed into the wax and then it will release carefully. I don't measure because, like I said, once you've made your first candle, you realize that the rules are really, they don't mean anything, with the exception of 120 degrees. That is like a hard and fast rule. But otherwise, we just add in as many drops as we want until it comes out to be like a teaspoon. So right now, I'm sitting pretty at 122 degrees, which is really nice. Sometimes for fragrance oils, they'll have a flash temperature written on the side that'll tell you how hot that oil can get before, oh, that smells so good, before it dissolves, or before the scent breaks apart. Essential oils don't have a flash temperature. I can't remember if I said that or not. So, yeah. Thank you, Hannah. Intuition is better than measuring. Just go with your instincts, which, let me be clear, I've made candles exactly 3 times before this. This is another one of those quarantine hobbies. So once you have added your essential oils, you want to whisk it all together for about 2 minutes. That's what the internet says. Between 1 to 2 minutes. You're not going to have to worry about your wax solidifying, right? I told you it takes like upwards of an hour. I also don't think I used enough wax. I thought I did. I feel like I poured in a lot, but we'll find out. 1 to 2 minutes gives the essential oils a chance to just like disseminate more evenly throughout the wax. And nothing really goes wrong if you stir too little or too much, right? Too much, just keep stirring it in. Too little, some parts of your candle will just smell stronger than others, right? The oil will sort of still be gathered in places. All right, well, I'm stirring. How is everybody doing? You can do different colored layers, Joy. That's a good question. So you cannot add food dye to your candles. No food dye. Let's just clear that out of the way now. That was a terrible mistake. You need specifically candle dye, which you can buy in blocks of colored wax, or it's mica powder, which is also what people use in soap making. I personally don't really care if my candles are colored. When you want to do colored candles, right, you have to layer them, wait for them to dry, and then add your next layer. Unless you want to do some sort of cool marbly effect, in which case you wait for them to partially dry and then pour it on top and like take a stick. It looks really cool, but it's just more work than I am willing to do. Yeah, see, Joy, I also did food dye because Pinterest is a dark place and not everyone can be trusted. And then it went badly. You can melt crayons there we go, that's probably enough. You can melt crayons on their own, but they do not recommend mixing crayons with wax. So I'm just gonna pour this into my mold. Not mold, it's a vase. Let's see. How did I measure? Nope, see, that's just halfway. So it melts down considerably, and when it dries, let's see, it'll probably rise to like here, right? Just a little bit higher than where it's at now, but as I mentioned before, I can just pour more wax in and it'll all mix in really carefully. So if you don't want to be as lazy as I am, that's where the pouring the wax into your mold twice gets you to a closer amount. But this will melt faster because now the candle broiler is pretty hot. This is absolutely a great use of your aromatherapy leftovers. If you don't have wicks or jars, you can also use like if you have ice cube molds that are like silicone and not just straight plastic. People use those and they make those wax scents and use them as like the wax melts in things, which is, I personally think, just awesome. I don't have any of them, and I have acquired a plethora of things that I really don't need for crafts. So, hi Michelle! We are waiting for more wax to melt because I didn't measure, because, I don't know, I didn't. I thought I was better at this than I was. Has anybody else taken up anything fun while we are in quarantine? So you can just stand here and watch me hold my candle boiler in this hot water. Let's poke it. Yeah, that's melting way faster. Everything. Well, I'm glad I am relatable to at least someone. Oh, Michelle, right, you did your seed video. When are your seeds going to be planted in the ground? Kathy, is the art box like a subscription art box that comes once a month, or are you just getting a shipment of art supplies? Gosh, Hannah's taken up the ukulele. Hillary is trapped at home doing customer service work. Okay, that's almost perfect. Second half of May. Ah, you're in it for the long haul. Those plants are gonna be so big. Hannah, I do not know what reverse tie-dye means. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a craft I would also like to take up. Okay. Yay, it's melted. Oh, I let that get a little hot. That's up to 130. So we're gonna just let the whisk take some of the heat out. And then I upend more of this into here. Not as much as last time, because I do have less wax. Oh, fun, Kathy! You both got an art box. That's gonna be so exciting. I mean, I've taken up every single craft that has stood still in this house, so. Also photographing your dog. Yeah, Hillary, those are pretty cute dog photographs. Fran Japan deserves her own Instagram. You drew eyebrows on your dogs? Are they like concerned eyebrows or just like, I mean, what do their facial expressions look like now? I can't even picture what that would be. Amy, hi, welcome. Okay, so that's good. I've got tea tree oil in here, and this is still liquid, though the bottom is solidifying nicely. We're just gonna pour it in until it comes close to the top. Now, you do not want to take it all the way to the top, right? Because I mentioned the wax is gonna rise like just a little bit. But also because your wick isn't gonna like that, right? You typically want the top of your wick to be even with the top of the jar. So when this dries, which, let's see if I can take you guys down to eye level. You're on a tripod. Oh, I forgot to tell you, my exciting news. I bought, actually, a phone mount for my tripod, so you guys are no longer being held up by rubber bands. It's very exciting. For me, really, less so for you. Right, so I'm gonna cut the wick to be just a little bit less than the top of the vase, because you always want the flame to not rise more than like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch higher than the candle vase. You can use mason jars, you can use tins. Yesterday I was practicing to see if I still remembered how to do this. I used that bowl that I got from the $3 section at Target, which also, can I just say, I'm gonna turn this around. Sorry, you're looking at the cupboard. What was I doing? That there are currently like little dinosaur pots at Target in like the thrift section, right when you walk in the door. They cost like $5. I own all of them. I'm using them for plants, but they would also make really cool candle holders. But does anybody have, yeah, I should file it as a business expense, Kathy. That would be so much fun. Okay, guys. I'm just gonna make sure I didn't miss any questions that you guys have. Wait, you filled a whole sketchbook in a week. That is, okay, super impressive. You guys have mad skills and great hobbies. I'm definitely going to farm that later to decide what else I should be doing with my time. But for now, that is all that I have for you guys. Yes, I love the dinosaur emojis, and yeah, this is totally professional development, Joy. You should definitely write this off on your timesheet. It's team building, it's support, and if you guys have any recommendations for future videos that you guys would like to see, I am always up for new crafts. Remember to check out Gifted. As I understand it, they are still taking orders on Facebook, and you could also get a really cool stay home sweatshirt, or perhaps buy them for your entire family and then everyone would match. I have been Emmy. I am the teen librarian at Lake Forest Library, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna let you guys go on with the rest of your day. Have a good one.